and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. We have a great show tonight, but before we start, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors. This July, as we celebrate the birth of our nation, it's important to reflect on the freedoms for which our forefathers fought. Today, these freedoms are under attack. Look no further than the treatment of President Donald Trump. If the left can go after him, they can and will come after us. That's why now more than ever, we need to stick together and we need to fight back. And you can do that by joining AMAC. AMAC is more than just a senior discount organization. AMAC is dedicated to protecting our conservative values and defending our rights. Learn more about how AMAC is actively fighting for our freedoms by visiting amac.us/Lara. By joining AMAC, you're not just becoming a member, you're becoming part of a movement. This July 4th, let's pledge to stand united. Join AMAC today and ensure that our voices are heard. Visit amac.us/Lara, and together we can make a difference. Tonight we are so excited because we are joined by Bristol Palin. Bristol, I feel like you and I could probably sit down and for about 12 hours have a lot to talk about. We're gonna limit it a little bit here tonight, but I feel like you and your family were really ground zero for being thrown straight into the political spotlight. Before even those of us in the Trump family, you were just 17 when all of this happened. What was the thing that surprised you the most in the midst of all of that craziness? Because I know from experience, it was total craziness.
Yes, it's just complete chaos. And I think the thing that surprises me the most is, just like the narratives that are really put out there that have like no legs to stand on. That to me has surprised me the most.
Yeah, we can certainly relate to that.
Yes.
Did you guys sit down? Here's what we did as a family. Before my father-in-law announced he was running for president in 2015, we all sort of sat down and we talked about it. And he was basically like, listen, this is something I want to do, but I need to know that you guys understand that it's not just about me. It's really going to be about all of us. Did you guys as a family have a conversation like that?
I know my parents did for sure, but all of us kids were so young. I don't think that we like fully understood what was going on. So we never had one of those moments where we had, a family meeting to discuss it. But yeah, it's a lot. It definitely changes your life for sure.
Yeah. So people ask me this all the time, and my answer is very clearly yes. I think it would be different. But let me ask you, do you think that if your mom had run as VP as a Democrat, you guys would have been treated any differently, or do you think things would have been totally the same?
Oh my gosh, completely different. Completely different. It drives me crazy too. It drives me crazy, especially with like the Hunter Biden stuff. It just drives me insane where some of the stuff that he's done, I'm like, can you imagine? If this is a Republican? It's just mind blowing to me that there's never any information on it. Nobody ever talks about it. It's just insane.
Yeah. Well, and the thing you say about like the stories or tales that get spun, so to speak, about, those people surrounding a candidate, oftentimes the family, the things that they come up with for so many of us, I think are really wild. And as you say, they have really no legs to stand on. And then you contrast that with a laptop full of information that we have on Hunter Biden.
Yes.
And somehow we're just supposed to ignore it. Bristol, like, oh, well, this is totally fine. Meanwhile, we're all being called all kinds of crazy stuff out there. Yeah.
Just the comparison of the two is just insane to me. Like the factual information versus things that have nothing to stand on that the media takes and just completely runs with.
Yeah, what was that process like for you? Because I think for those of us in our family, it's really kind of like a big punch in the face, right? You don't realize that these things are going to happen. You don't realize that, and I think my father-in-law honestly instinctively knew because he said it really is about all of us, but that you're so sucked into this process and you become stories yourself. How was that for you? Because I mean, I was, a grown woman whenever my father-in-law decided to run for president. I was in my 30s, right? In my early 30s. But I had established myself and I was comfortable with myself. As a teenager, though, for you to have to deal with that and for your whole family, how was that? I mean, what was that process like? Because I know the first time I ever read anything negative about myself, a comment somebody made somewhere, something on social media, a bad article written about me, it's a lot to take. But I'm trying to imagine being 17 years old and having to figure out how to internalize and deal with that sort of thing.
I think for me, I'm kind of thankful that I was so naive. I was only 17 when my mom was picked. So honestly, I'm kind of thankful that I was in my own little world. And I never read any comments.
Oh, good for you.
So naive in all that. So I think it would be much harder to go through if I was older, for sure.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, and I think maybe Barron can relate to that a lot. Obviously, he was younger whenever my father-in-law first, announced he was running for president. But maybe that is better. Maybe then you have like, a family member, parent, or something kind of keeping you away from it. There's been a lot of talk about Donald Trump's announcing his vice presidential pick. We're stirring around that time. It's coming very soon.
I'm so excited to hear.
Oh, well, a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about this, but I want to ask you, what do you remember around that time of the process when your mom was chosen and was going to be the VP nominee in 2008? Did you guys know that it was going on as a family, or you said like, your mom and dad talked a lot about how things would be, but do you remember anything about what that process was like?
I was so in my own little world. I just finished my junior year of high school. I was pregnant, so 17 and pregnant. And I was just so focused on myself and in survival mode of my own little world that I didn't even know who was running for president, to be honest. I was just in my own little world. And my mom was the governor at the time. But I was so focused on myself and just in survival mode that I did not know what was going on.
Wow. Well, so were you happy or when it ended more or less, or were you like, oh, we should have done more of that? How did you feel about things at the end?
Well, just her career in politics, it felt very gradual, where she was the mayor and then she was, the governor, and then she was picked for VP. So all of that felt very natural. And it was fun. It was fun to be on the campaign trail. It's exciting. And also too, social media just was not as popular back in 2008. So I feel like that's what kind of made it fun, was the fact that we were like more protected then. And again, I was just naive, kind of in my own little world, but it was fun to be a part of all that. When it ended though, I think it was very strange to see how fast people can switch on you. So that part of it, I did not like to see the people that like had loved my mom, lifted my mom up so much, when she was running. And then when they didn't win, how fast people can turn. So I feel like that part of it, just being protective of my mom, I did not like that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because we can relate to that too, Bristol, imagine it or not.
We've got a lot that we could relate on, for sure.
That's so true. What was funny to me is after the election in 2020, when all these people, a similar thing, all of a sudden nowhere to be found. And now that social media is more of a big deal and it is part of everyday life, there are a lot of these people who are posting things over the past couple of years on their social media. I guess they didn't think any of us would see. I'll just go ahead and tell them out there, we saw it. We know what you said. And so anybody thinking that they're like sliding under the radar and like going to come back in, and now, now everybody wants to be a part of it. Now that, this is the team to be on. Where were you whenever it wasn't that way? It's very interesting.
You find out who your real friends are, for sure.
100%. How was that for you as a teenager? Did you have any friend issues because of that?
I don't think so. I was really just so stuck in my own little world, which I feel like is such a blessing, because it would have impacted me so much differently. But I was really just focused on just raising my son and just having a healthy, happy baby. That's what I was focused on.
So politics has obviously evolved, and I don't think for the better. Sad to say, I actually would argue that right now things are even worse, if it's possible, than in 2016. But how much worse do you think politics has ultimately become since 2008, since your mom was running as vice president?
I just think there's so much corruption, and I think the divide is so much bigger. And I feel like that corruption is so concealed by
Yeah.
by the media, and I hate that part of it. I feel like there's a lot of people that just throw it in our face how corrupt they are, and I feel like that's made politics so much worse.
All right, if you suffer from chronic pain, listen up. Here's a way to help you get real relief. As a fitness fanatic myself, I understand that recovery is just as important as the workout itself. But whether you're recovering from an injury or just looking for everyday relief from pain in your joints and muscles, nerve pain, fibrosis, and inflammation, I recommend Golden Revive Plus from Up Wellness. This advanced all-natural formula combines 6 powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients, including a proprietary turmeric extract that's 200 times stronger than raw turmeric. All of this to address the root cause of your pain, reducing scarring, swelling, and tissue damage using the healing powers of nature to help your body heal itself. Formulated by husband and wife team Doctors Josh and Amanda Levitt, Golden Revive Plus gives you real pain relief and better range of motion, plus better heart, eye, and brain health. Join the over 300,000 Americans who are already using Golden Revive Plus to get and stay pain-free. For a limited time, you can try Golden Revive Plus for 30% off at goldenrevive.com. Just use promo code Trump at checkout. Now, you might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of their box stores or shopping channels the way they used to. They've been part of cancel culture. So now they want to pass the savings directly on to you by having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a one-product company. But with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. To get the word out, I want to invite my listeners to check out their $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, just $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping. This amazing offer will not last long, so go to mypillow.com and use promo code Trump or call 800-624-3945 today.
Yeah.
Well, it's terrible because, this is supposed to be a process that everyone should feel good about, right? You should feel like you can trust going to vote. You should feel like that the entire electoral process is legitimate. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who feel like it is not for whatever reason. I mean, you look at the way they've tried to take down Donald Trump. I think you would be hard pressed to argue that anything has been fair about any of it.
Nothing about it's been fair. Just the corruption that they just blatantly throw in our face is just insane to me.
Yeah, it's amazing the fact that they're so brazen about it, right? That they're no one's even trying to hide it at this point.
And if you call it out, you're just instantly censored.
Well, right, which is why they don't like what I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm the co-chair of the RNC, which Bristol, I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined I would end up here.
That's amazing, though. Congratulations.
Thank you. But it is a job I take very seriously. And I think our most vital role and the thing that we need to ensure is election integrity, because people don't trust the process, and with a lot of very good reason. And so it is really my number one focus right now to ensure that whenever somebody goes to cast a vote, and for whomever they vote, whether they're voting for a Republican, Democrat, or a third party candidate, you should feel great as an American citizen knowing that you are casting a vote and your vote matters and your vote counts. And I think it's sadly something that I don't know that we have a full consensus on around the country, but that is my goal come this election, to ensure that that is indeed the case. And despite all of the very blatant ways that there's a lot of nefarious activity out there, we're going to overcome it, and we're going to be in a great spot, I believe, come November 5th.
I think you're the perfect person to bring awareness to that and to do something about it. I think it's amazing.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. So we talked a little bit about the fact that you were pregnant during the time your mom was running. How aware, you have 3 kids now. They're 15, 13, and 7, did you tell me?
15, 8, and 7.
Oh God, I was close. I was
Oh.
close. I got it mixed up. So how aware of your kids in terms of all the crazy political stuff that's happened sort of in your life?
I think my son is more so aware. My daughters, they're 7 and 8, they could care less. But I do think that my son's a little bit aware, and we do talk back and forth, about current events and politics and whatnot. So I feel like he has his hand a little bit more on the pulse.
That's an interesting age to me. So I told you my kids are 4 and 6, so they're very young. They're starting to understand a little bit about grandpa. This grandpa, my dad, different grandpa, but this grandma, my father-in-law, they're starting to understand a little bit more in terms of, oh, grandpa was president, grandpa is trying to be president again. But I feel like the age that your son is at 15, that is a very tricky age. And I'm actually grateful, Bristol, that my kids are not that age right now. How do you navigate kind of that space? Because I feel like there's a lot that comes at our teenagers right now in this country and kind of his age group. What is that like?
Well, I try to shelter my kids from as much as possible. So he doesn't really have social media.
Good for you. That's great.
On his phone, and I feel like just protecting them in that aspect that I can control is best for them, for sure. I don't want him to, see the bad in the world. I want to protect him as much as I can.
Yeah. It's hard though, because even if you, and by the way, kudos to you for keeping him away from social media. I think that it's one of the very unknown spaces, and we really don't know how it's going to affect an entire generation long term. Because look, when I was a kid, we didn't have that, right? And when you were very young, as you just said, like that wasn't really happening, and so we don't really know the impact, but we know it's not great. And so I commend you on that, and I think it's really challenging to keep kids off of that, because I'm sure his friends, all have it, or a lot of his friends probably have it. But then in terms of, you send your kid to school and you want to know that they're getting educated and they're learning the things that are going to actually give them a great quality of life and the ability to be out on their own one day. But a lot of it is different these days. So that's another space that I think is very concerning to a lot of parents out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he started his freshman year of high school with a flip phone. Like, that's how strict.
Love it.
And I feel like that's going to set him up for more success in the future, if he just knows that social media is not the be all end all, and he is just not a part of that.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I think that's great. I'm going to take some notes from this, because I'll tell you. And then he knows how to do the texting where it's like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And all the OGs out there, you guys know about that. Everybody remembers
the predictive text. Yeah.
Yeah. The good old days. Yeah, that was a good time. So I want to ask you about Dancing with the Stars and your invitation. And side note, a lot of people probably don't know this about me, but I did right after my father-in-law got chosen, elected in 2016. And I believe it was sometime during the transition process. I actually got invited to do Dancing with the Stars.
Why didn't you do it?
Bristol, I said no. And now I'm like, God, I should have said yes.
It is so much fun. It's so much fun. I think one of you guys need to be on it for sure. It is so much fun.
Well, maybe they'll hear this and they'll give me another shot. So I thought about it and I was like, I don't know. Is that the right move for me career-wise? And let me hear from your experience. I was going to ask you about it. Sounds like I should have done it.
Yes, I think it's just one of those shows that's just like so light and bright.
Yeah.
It was when I was on it. I haven't really watched it since, but it's just so fun. You're just learning how to dance, and all the pros are so kind and so professional. It was a blast.
Oh, all right. Well, if the Dancing with the Stars people are listening and tuning in, I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe give me another call. Like, let me know again.
You have so much fun, and the costumes and the makeup. It's just a blast.
So what's the training like for that though? Like, it's in LA, right?
Yes.
So did you go back and forth to LA?
I was in LA for like 3 months. The first time I was on it, and we're training every day. And then there was, at the time I was on it, there was 2 live shows a week. and we were learning multiple dances a week. It was just a blast. It was so much fun.
Well, I can't think of anything the mainstream media and the Democrats out there would love more, other than, of course, my singing, than for me to go on Dancing with the Stars. So just
I think you
again,
gotta do it. I definitely think you gotta do it.
throwing it out there. I love that. Before I let you go, you and your family went from being political and then entered reality TV. The Trump family, on the other hand, went from reality TV to politics. So let me ask you, do you think you're done with reality TV, or could we see something in the future from Bristol Palin?
Gosh, I love the little private life that I've created for my family. I really do. So I don't know. I mean, I've had so much fun on reality TV, but I really do love just a little quiet life that I've created for my kids. So I don't know. I can't say no for sure, but I think it would take a lot. It would have to be something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, I would say I never say never to things,
Yes.
because if we said no in the Trump family, I mean, where would we be? It's kind of crazy, but I appreciate that though. I think there's something, once you've been kind of in the spotlight and really your life has been upended, it's kind of a nice change to take a low key approach to just kind of be with your family and
Yes.
do all of those things. So I appreciate that, but we'll look out. We'll see if we see you somewhere, Bristol. We'll know it must be something you're really into, and we'll tune in.
Passionate about it for sure.
Is there anything that you're working on, or somewhere people can follow you and all the things?
I share like glimpses of my life on Instagram, very like limited small pieces. So just social media. I've been in real estate now for, gosh, over 6 years.
Oh, good for you.
Here in Austin, and I've been having a blast with that. But yeah, I just share a little bit of my life on Instagram.
Yeah, give them a little taste. Just keep them hungry a little bit. I like that. Well, Bristol Palin, thank you for joining us here at The Right View. Again, I think like if you and I'm not even say a cup of coffee, if we sat down with like a nice glass of wine or two, we could really get into it, because I'm sure we have a lot of stories that would be very, very similar. But I appreciate that you're so positive and just, a lot of this stuff I feel like can harden you and really just kind of make you depressed. So the fact that, we're not just surviving, we're thriving. And I'm going to say that for you too. I love that. And so kudos to you and congratulations on that, because they don't make it easy out there. That's for sure.
They don't.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, Bristol Palin, thanks for joining us here at The Right View. To everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And we'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.